WrestleManiacs, Maniacs. This is the podcast. It's called WrestleManiacs. Adam, Datila, Indian Josh. They're now together forever and son. WrestleManiacs. This is the podcast. It's called WrestleManiacs. WWE, AEW, TNA, JPW. WrestleManiacs.
Good evening, WrestleManiacs. It is Josh here, as well as with Datila, and we are going to be reviewing tonight Bash at Berlin. Datila, let's just get started on the show tonight as the sun sets here in the States, as well as in Germany. It's probably late night over there, and maybe even morning. Tell me, at first on started, did you love the show? Did you hate the show? Just on the get-go, and we can dive into it more, but I just want to hear initial reactions.
I thought it was a pretty decent show. It wasn't a Sean Spears Perfect 10, but I thought it was a pretty decent show.
I feel so bad with them when they're trying to do the volume thing, and for whatever reason, nobody can beat France's volume thing. They try as much as they can, but they're still trying to get there. But definitely, let's just dive right into it. Our first match, I don't want to say surprised, but I was a little surprised. We actually had Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens to start with. We actually had a pretty, I kind of expected this to be maybe middle of the show versus the start, but hey, definitely no complaints about having Cody Rhodes and all of them on there. So tell me, this match, what did you make of it?
I thought it was a pretty decent match. I'm really surprised that Kevin Owens didn't turn heel. I was expecting it, especially at the very end after Cody Rhodes helped them up. And then he kind of hesitated right there. I thought he was going to turn heel. And even commentary made of the fact that Kevin Owens doesn't have that killer instinct anymore. So I feel like we're slowly going to get a Kevin Owens heel turn.
Yeah, if you look at the end, whenever he was hugging Cody Rhodes, once he lost to him, you could tell he kind of pushed the camera out of his face, because I was watching, and if you look at his eyes, you can tell he has this kind of far away off look, like, I'm going to kill this guy. And I really kind of expected the Sami Zayn NXT kind of I want to say debut, when Sami Zayn won the NXT title way back when. Kevin Owens came out, gave him a hug, all that sort of stuff, and then powerbombed him on the apron. So I really did expect some sort of heel turn there. But they did tease the whole, I'm not going to do it. And I hate to say it, but this was not a good match to me. I did not like it at all. It felt boring. It felt plotting. I just was kind of like, this is not intensity.
You felt that there was no heat, and it was kind of really predictable that Cody Rhodes was going to win?
No, because at first they started out kind of doing the simple wrestling thing. I figured that out. There was a certain point when they started to get in each other's face. I'm like, okay, now we're going to get the intensity. And to me, they just never got out of that first gear. Yes, I agree there was no heat. And they did have little moments of Kevin Owens going to do something dastardly, but I don't know. There was a sequence when I think they were, I think it was Kevin Owens throwing Cody Rhodes to the ropes and he dodged and stuff. It just felt very I don't know. It was like half a step off for some reason. Again, I expected, I was terrible on predictions, of course. I was hoping they were going to shock me.
Yeah, you got your ass kicked on predictions.
I got my ass beat on that. But you know what, though? I don't know. I kind of expected something more newsworthy with them too. But hey, maybe they're gonna take time. Triple H does like to cook and like to have his stuff simmer a lot more than McMahon did. Because if McMahon was in charge, it probably would have been a heel turn way before this. So decent match again. But is it gonna be memorable? No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from there, anything else on that?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, next we had the Women's Tag Team Championship. We had Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus the Unholy Union for the Women's Tag Team Championships. And believe it or not, as Adam calls them, Black Girl Magic actually picked up the win here and regained the tag team titles. What do you think of this one?
So we were partially correct on this. We said that this was going to be the start of the road to Jade versus Bianca, and I kind of think that we were right in that sense. We got this prediction wrong. We all did. All three of us did. But I thought this was a decent match. But you had to really pay attention to the details here, because that's what told the story. So if you paid attention during the match, you noticed that Unholy Union isolated Bianca from Jade, and every time Jade tried to help Bianca, it allowed Unholy Union to kind of take advantage of that.
Right. And I think it's going to be a slow burn. I definitely think this is not going to be fast because, really, I hate to say it, they're still getting Jade ready for this point. I mean, I definitely think that they realized quickly that she was nowhere near ready when she first won the tag titles, took it off of her, tried to give her some more momentum and more training time. I mean, that's always been something Cargill has always had against her, at least in the IWC, is, she looks great, but her skills are not so great, essentially.
And then another thing I noticed was that Jade and Bianca came out separately. Normally they come out together, and this time they came out separately. So quite interesting things to notice in this match. I do think them losing the tag titles again would play a factor into them splitting up and eventually leading to Jade versus Bianca at WrestleMania next year.
And that may be the final thing. I mean, again, I definitely am not against that story because, again, I kind of expected them to go on a losing streak calling that. But, hey, I mean, sometimes you got to get on the incredible high for somebody to knock each other off the mountain. But, again, I kind of wonder if they're going to go with the Bianca heel turn here. I mean, Jade naturally has that just you don't like her look. But I think it would be pretty interesting if we had Bianca turn heel. But, again, that's just fantasy booking. We'll have to watch and see what happens. But from here, decent enough match. Again, memorable. Maybe as the start. Maybe as part of the package for the feud. Inevitably, we're going to get at WrestleMania. So from here, we'll move on. We next had the strap match. We had CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a strap match, which we hadn't seen in quite a while. Datila, again, this match was okay. I was not impressed.
CM Punk was wearing his all-in gear, if you noticed.
I did notice that. It's so funny you said that. I thought that to myself too. I mean, strap matches are hard to do. I mean, the last one I remember my wife watching, and it's funny because I meant to tell that story the other day that the first match she was like, I'm going to watch wrestling with you. The first match she watched was Royal Rumble when it was The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan. She's like, my God, this is violent. I can't watch this. And she stopped watching it for like a year. Didn't want to watch any more of it until like a year or two later. So I almost got her back in 19, or 20, I think it was, but she was not interested at all. No, it was 19. I'm sorry. So it was just so funny that, she definitely was not into it by that time. But
if she thought that was right, it don't show her the quit match between John Cena and JBL at Judgment Day 2005.
Oh, I want to show her that and the original. Because see, we had the strap match with Guerrero and JBL was great because of the bloodbath that they had inevitably there. I think that back it was Judgment Day. But anyways, off to this match. Decent enough. I didn't necessarily love the 3 GTSs to finish off Drew. I thought it made him look a little weak.
4. Wasn't it 4?
I'm sorry, 4. It just was very, I don't want to say Punk dominated the match, but that ending was so kind of like buried Drew so bad. I don't know. I mean, we'll probably get to a Hell in a Cell, but it didn't feel like Punk won cheaply. Like if he had won by during the middle of the match when he was hitting the buttons as he was carrying him, that would have made more sense for him to be pissed off about this ending. But to me, it kind of was definitively a Punk win here.
I think Punk looked great for his first his first strap match.
Mm-hmm.
Last month was his first singles match.
Yep.
This is his second singles match. So, he looked good. It didn't really look like he was out of place.
Right.
The fact that Punk got busted open, even I think him giving McIntyre the 4 GTSs, I think it's gonna play a factor into them leading into the Hell in a Cell match. I definitely do think that.
I mean, I agree. I mean, they're going to use it, definitely. I was just so surprised that they gave Punk that many GTSs. I really kind of expected either that or, I mean, I don't know. Again, I kind of expected that, or maybe I would have thought Drew was going to try to hit a GTS and then Punk falls and hits the thing and it'd have been, oh, I got screwed again. That's what I was kind of expecting, a sequence like that, maybe for Punk to win cheaply. But hey, it's not my booker. I'm not the booker.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Drew McIntyre tap out to the sharpshooter?
I think he did. And it was a cool spot. I mean, again, the match was probably, out of the 3 we had seen so far, I thought it was good, but I really was, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not as brutal as, say, The Fiend and Daniel Bryan's in 2020 that I was expecting more hits and whips and stuff. I don't know. Again, Punk bleeding helped, but again, I still think he should have just busted and broke that damn bracelet at the end, and that would have been the real heat of like, you mother canucker, but who knows? Maybe we'll get that on Monday Night Raw and he'll snap. Who knows? We'll see. But then to me, I don't know. I mean, that's how I feel about this match. Anything else on this one?
I thought, like I said, I thought this was a decent match. I liked it.
Yeah. So next we get the Terra Twins of Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest versus the, I dare say, new Eddie Guerrero in China, but Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio, Team Chicken Nuggies, as he would say online. So what do you make of this one?
I thought this was a fun match. I liked it, but I disagree with the finish. I don't think the Terra Twins should have won, especially if the feud is going to continue after this. I just feel like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley really didn't need the win here. It didn't. I get that they were trying to give them their upcomings or stuff like that, but it's like, okay, if you're still gonna continue the feud, Dominic and Liv should have won here. And how the hell did Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, two people, take out all the rest of the Judgment Day? I'm not liking the new Judgment Day booking. I feel like you made them a much weaker faction than the old Judgment Day. I get that Rhea and Dom, Rhea and Priest were the breakout stars, and they're the baby faces, but they shouldn't be able to overpower the new Judgment Day.
I totally agree. I mean, even if we got a DQ finish, them winning, and then we get a definitive, okay, now it's going to be, I wouldn't have been mad if they did, okay, now Damian and Dom and all of them are going to be in a cage. Fine. A cage match, let's just say, or Hell in a Cell, whatever. I would have much rather taken that, because now I feel like we're going to be forced to see Damian Priest and Finn in a Hell in a Cell maybe, and then maybe we'll get Rhea versus Liv in Hell in a Cell. It just, again, like you said, even though, yes, they're the breakout stars, Dom still can take a loss, but still, for them to fend off the Judgment Day entirely makes you, like I said, makes them all seem so weak, where they were dominating the weeks before and getting the best of them. That's what I didn't understand.
It's like when Becky Lynch took out Damage Control 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Same exact thing. Yeah.
So I was not a huge fan of that. It's like, personally, I would have had Dom and Liv go over, but I would have had them go over in a dirty fashion. Like, they cheat to win. And then eventually, it leads to like maybe a Hell in a Cell match, or something here. But it's just the fact that this feud is not over. You still have to do Balor versus Priest, but yet Rhea and Damian already beat Dom and Liv.
And it makes the rest of the roster look bad by comparison, because, I mean, is it really just because of Priest and Rhea? And I really don't think that was ever the case, because Dom, especially Dom being in the Intercontinental title tournament, to me, I think I don't want to say it hurt his momentum, but it definitely didn't make him look any better getting his ass beat that quickly and that simply.
What I would have done, I would have had Dom and Liv go over, and then maybe on Raw, you have Priest cause Dom the opportunity to get back at him
exactly
for, winning the match. So, but I don't have a problem. I did like this match. I enjoyed it. I just disagreed with the finish.
I really think had they played into the Balor putting Dom's foot on the ropes and appearing and costing him the match like the world title, that would have been perfect for him to be like, finally, like, damn it. Okay, Finn, now it's time for me and you to battle. I don't care about Dom. I don't care about JD. It's me and you. You want to take over the Judgment Day? Fine. Then we're going to fight for it, or however. But I mean, again, you put it right. A fun match. And if you were definitely wanting to see the Terry Twins kick ass, that definitely was something that you got tonight. So overall, not memorable as much, but hey, this is only chapter 1 of the Judgment Day, or whatever they're now. I guess they're the Judgment Day still, but this feud, let's say.
I did enjoy the fact that we kind of had a little intergender about between Rhea Ripley and Dominic.
And I did like Dominic's kind of nod to La Parka. I did like that with the kind of skeleton thing. I thought that was a pretty neat little Easter egg if you were a fan of Lucha Libre, for sure. So,
and really now Lucha Libre, even though I'm a
Latina. Granted, I remember La Parka from WCW, the chairman of WCW. I popped up and I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. But on to our main event now. We have got Orton and we have got Gunther in Bash in Berlin, Germany. Again, as someone said, Michael Cole said, Gunther is pretty much adopted hometown. So again, what do we make of this match? Was it better than the King of the Ring? Was it worse?
Well, I didn't see the King of the Ring match. Yeah, because I was in Houston.
Oh, that's right. I will say for the finish, it's a better finish, obviously, but I really thought this was probably the biggest endorsement Gunther could have ever had from any legend. And I definitely say Randy Orton put him over huge. For Randy Orton to pass out When is the last time you've seen Randy Orton pass out to any submission move, anybody pass out anymore? And so to me, this was a perfect way. Gunther wins after hitting, I think his choke finisher, I think it was the third time was the charm, but that brutal chop to the neck, I really thought that was going to seal it, and it almost pretty much did. So, I mean, again, any other way Gunther would have not walked out as champion, I think the crowd would have rided over that.
There was no way Gunther was going to lose this. This whole pay-per-view was built around him main eventing.
I still wanted the choir to sing his song though, Gunther, but I didn't get it, but that's okay. I mean, we still got more time, especially since he got that cool piano entrance back at WrestleMania 39. But
I like that Ludwig Kaiser introduced him.
Oh, I love that. That was such a cool moment, especially you panning and you have the hand in the camera thing and this Ludwig. Oh man, that was really well done. I mean, again, the match was well done. They are definitely two horses going out there. I kind of expected how do I say this? It was a good match for what it was expected to be. But again, because we know Gunther was in no danger, it was almost like okay, we're getting to the finish. But I was very impressed that they gave him the submission win. And I definitely kind of liked that they had the main event sleeper hold back in a way. So I thought it was a really unique way of putting him over. And handshaking at the end was not expected either. So I thought that was a really cool moment as well.
You know, I did like the fact that Gunther put Randy Orton to sleep, because it's not often we see Randy Orton get put to sleep like that. You know, I was expecting a clean pinfall finish, and we got something else, which I actually don't mind. You know, I like the sleeper finish. And the fact that Gunther extended his hand to Randy Orton, Randy shook it, that's just, I guess you could say, a passing of the torch, you know.
Right. And I definitely think that was something that I didn't expect Gunther to put his hand out to Orton. I expected Orton to put his hand out and say, shake my hand, you beat my ass, but whatever. But I mean,
yeah.
Again, like you said, this show was the Gunther show. And again, having the best match of the night, going into that, what would you think the match of the night is? Would it be Orton and Gunther? Would it be Punk and McIntyre? What do you place as the match of the night?
I do think it's Gunther versus Orton.
I kind of figured they booked it that way because it could have been nothing else but the main event. And again, I think that just the unique factor of the chop to the back of the neck, and you see the sweat just fly off Orton. You knew he really did hit him. I was like, wow, that was a hard hit. I mean, so definitely we are heading on now. We've got NXT No Mercy tomorrow, or I do, I should say. So I've got that. But Joe Hendry's in the main event. I don't know. That's going to be something that's very interesting versus going for the NXT title versus Ethan Page. So a former AEW wrestler is now fighting a TNA wrestler for the NXT title. So what a crazy 2024. Didn't see that in my bingo card.
And it's even funnier, the fact that Ethan Page is also a former TNA wrestler.
Oh, that's right. And you know what? Just sidebar, I would have never guessed JBL was going to show up on TNA. I was shocked reading that earlier. So, I mean, the wrestling god comes to TNA. I'm loving this cross promotion. Loving it.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't expecting JBL either. I was pretty surprised by that last night.
For sure. Well, especially since he aligned with Alberto Del Rio in Mexico. So it's going to be a really interesting feud between them two, or if they're going to align. So I was really curious about that. And we've got, again, that's TNA, though. We'll move on from there. But Datila, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at @Datila_. I talk about things wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasional Saturdays and Sundays. For all things TNA, you can check me out every Thursday on Body Slam. And then I did go, if you like Power Rangers, I did go to Power MorphoCon. So I uploaded a bunch of videos from Power MorphoCon. So make sure you check them out.
Awesome. Again, you can find me at WrestleM Podcast, trying to do the Raw, SmackDown, NXT reviews, getting back after working 60 hours. So definitely going to try to be more consistent. Sorry, guys, for that. It's just been a crazy, crazy couple of weeks. And again, I've got doing accounting. I've got month-end close coming up. So I want to say I'm going to try this week. If not, next week I'll have a lot more freedom, thankfully. Thank goodness for that. But for us here at WrestleManiacs and for Datila, as well as for me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Depending on Josh's schedule, maybe we'll do a dual cast for NXT No Mercy, or maybe I'll be talking NXT twice tomorrow. We'll see.
Oh, Datila does NXT again. But, you got Joe Hendry. So, again, I mean, how can you not do NXT when Joe Henry's going for the NXT championship? Especially if he wins, you got to do that somehow. Even if it's just a quick little video and review, who's NXT champion? Joe Hendry. So, again, just let me know. I'm sure everybody will be waiting on bated breath to see what happens. You could literally show up in the middle of the stream. Maybe we'll just have you just all of a sudden do a run-in and tell no one. Everybody's like, oh my, holy crap, it's Datila. So you never know. You never know with WrestleManiacs. Never say never. All right. Well, again, we will see you guys tonight. Thanks for joining. And again, just be on the lookout for any new content we've got coming. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.